my takeaway listening to her is, since she has 2 children, right? She stressed that everyone is unique, right? Just as we have unique children, we also have unique families. So as you can see, when they were sharing, her family is quite different, and she mentioned a lot that, mine is different from Charmaine, and I'm sure all of you are different from each other. So at this last part of our session, we will accept as many questions as we can, and we also like you to share some of the experiences that you have, with your children in reading to them, so that we can share all these experiences with each other. Okay? So shall we start with the question first? Maybe, some of you must be like, eager to, I have a question. So start with the questions first, and then we'll share your experiences, or it could be done together. Okay? Plus, we do encourage you to share your experiences as well. Okay? Because all of us are unique. Yeah. How cute. Oh, this is a unique one with a spot on his face. Okay, so would anybody like to start?
I do not know when to start with the small letters. These words, right. Some of the words are really small. So now it's a K one, but try to don't do those books that are small wordings. I'm not sure whether it's done.
A question in case you cannot hear her. She does not know when to use the books with small words.
Yes.
And the child is K1.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe if it's the first reading, I think we first have to find out, are you reading for pleasure, or are you reading so that your child can recognize words? Because if it's a first reading, are you getting the child interested in the content and to appreciate the story first?
I think both.
Both, yeah. So we always try to have both.
Yeah.
So like myself, so usually if I have to do it with a 5-year-old child, so I would definitely try to first let the child understand the story. And even though you say it's got the small words and all, so then I would maybe pick out 1 or 2, maybe at a 3rd reading, when the child already knows the story, and then relate it to something that can be that the child might know. Because if you recall, I mentioned the word at. Actually, that word is in almost all the books. Yeah, so then I would say, did you notice that there's this word? They're at. Yeah, so if you want to be very conscious about the text for an older child, so I think it's regardless of how many words there are, because I might only zoom in on words that the child may confidently read or can achieve success with. Yeah, because if you try to make a child read all the words, then it doesn't become motivating. And for my son in particular, short attention span, not very academically inclined in that sense, he would then say, are we done? Yeah. So he would want to move on to something else. Yeah, so I think if we go back to the interest, if the child is interested enough, then I think it's regardless of the words. Because if you see 2-year-old with the Gruffalo's child, the child is imitating, so the memorization sometimes help to recap what that word is. Yeah.
I mean, I'm more concerned about the eyesight for 4 or
I
5
see.
years old.
I see.
Yeah,
So depending on how small the text is, for Gruffalo's
like those
child.
magazines.
Oh, so magazines.
Words, yeah. So
I guess if you don't do it every day, and it's just picking out what that word is.
Yeah, and also I guess just to jump in, also the relevance of what you're reading,
Yeah, like your brochures.
why are you, sometimes for me I generally start from the pictures.
Yeah.
And it's always very picture friendly. And now for Ray, she does not she's very sensitive to, sometimes I'm a bit tricky and I try and put something that's got more words than a picture, and she's like, no, show me the pictures. If not, we have nothing to talk about. So she knows too,
So I think size may not be a consideration for me.
It's just more like the words, right?
Yeah, because she wants to know the size. Because I look at the brochures that she showed, the airplane, the instructions, right?
Yeah.
Those are really tiny.
Yeah.
Those are really, if a child's interested, I'm not sure about the research part. Maybe don't know if Dr. Chen might know whether the size matters, but yeah.
Because his elder brother,
Yes.
just sign the books, tiny, then it is everywhere. there and actually try to figure out, I don't know what they're trying to figure out, but these are the candidates, so I'm a bit concerned if he can, he's straining his eyes and everything, although it's like big, but yeah.
Is he reading at this age? I mean, is he reading words?
Well, I'm not sure if it's memorizing.
Yeah, they start with memorizing. Yeah.
So I'm not very sure.
Well, I just heard a story of a grandmother like me who was taking care of the grandchild. And of course, we use books like these, right, with young children. But this granddaughter was always going to the adults, library and taking adults' book. Not because she wants to read them, but because she loves her grandmother and the grandmother is doing those books and she is just using it. Yes. Yes. So it could be that he admires his older brother. Older brother is doing this, I'm doing this. Okay? But generally at age 5, we don't really say, okay, what's this? I have a student who told me that whenever she takes a book out, her 3-year-old runs away. So what does that tell you? You see? And I'm sure it's not happening in your household, because at 3 or even there, we don't, really use text as reading as text. Like, her example is very good when she actually, talked about pictures, this about pictures, how it starts with pictures, yeah, and then
Yeah, if the child is squinting, like we may not recommend it. But if the child is looking at the font, even though it's small and it's like normally like just reading it, then that's okay.
chances are that he's not going to be reading it.
Just not squinting, I suppose.
Well, Big Brother is doing it,
Which is great too, right? It's great modeling. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's whether he's squinting, because like,
Okay, do you have any other questions? Yes.
Okay, my question is, at how old can we expose them to like YouTube? Because you mentioned about audio book, right? So actually, I'm a no video,
No screen time.
no phone, no screen
Yeah.
time. Because I'm very conscious. I know when we online, all those downside to that.
Yes.
But when you shared about the audio book, I thought that's really a very
Yeah, I have many friends and also parents in my school who have zero screen time. For me, I actually was like, in the beginning I was like zero screen time, but really my lifestyle does not allow for it. My husband is a movie person. So it was just very unrealistic for me, because he bonds with my child, through screen time, and that's how he grew up. So it really depends on A, your family, like what you want for your child, and B, what is realistic. And also realistically for me, the grandparents let her watch. So that's how they bond, So I know of some children who are 6 years old and have zero screen time. So, it really depends, right?
But I think generally the World Health Organization is putting under 2.
Yeah, and a maximum of 1 hour for above 3-year-olds, right? Around 3-year-olds. Maximum of 1 hour screen time, meaning not just TV, but phones, smartphones, any kind of screen. Yeah, so I stick to that. My girl only watches maximum 15 minutes a day. And she gets that time with my husband, but apart from that, and going back to audiobooks, there can be audiobooks, but there are also plays and musicals. So, and puppets, there are a lot of ways to do it so that you can still stick to your no screen time rule.
Maybe like 15 months now.
Yeah.
Okay, by the time it turns 18, maybe I start to introduce like 10 minutes a day.
And audiobooks are great too, because you don't have to let them watch, you can just listen. Yeah.
For me, I think like just to clarify, so my children had no screen time below 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was only after 2 when we say like compliments. So they started when they were 3 or 4. Yeah, but below 2, like I really follow the theories, the research. No, then if a grandparent just like cannot watch TV. Yeah, and they think like, what's wrong? Like,
Correct.
your husband turned out fine, right? Like, yeah, I know, but I just don't want them to watch, yeah.
Okay, my question is, how important is having the child look at a video story instead of just looking at books? So how important is something that we need to ask ourselves? How important? You know, is it necessary? How important? Because if there are other things here, or even reading signs, you know, around the world, how important?
I guess it's a different way of presenting a story. It's alive in a sense, rather than if it's in a book, it's a 2D kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other question is also, that's how the benefits of reading to the book. I mean, what that book gives to the child, or that story gives to the child. But does the video help you to bond better with the child? I mean, maybe in her case, because the husband is a movie person, so he doesn't know to do anything else but watch movie. Maybe in her case, as I say, it's unique, everybody is unique. But the question that we have to ask ourselves, does using this video help me bond better with the child, or does taking this book and the child on your lap and looking at? So these are some issues that we as parents have to ask ourselves. And then we select what is good for us and for the child. Okay, so it's not like, oh, she does it, it works, so it works, you know.
Yeah.
So it's something that's why I need all of you to share your experiences, so you can see that different parents, different families approach the same topic in a different way. Okay, and you may want to pick this one, or you may want to pick that one. Okay, but it has to suit yourself, your family lifestyle, and your child.
And also, maybe just to add also on the screen time issue, it's completely interactive for us. So when we are watching, I'm not letting her just watch. It's a constant reference, conversation to the book and to the plot and to the conversation and the tone. You know, we bring up things like that. So I don't let her, even though there is screen time, I don't let it be a dead-end, one-sided, passive watching. It is interactive, and I'm there, you know. So that part is always crucial for me. So as we're watching it, there's that interaction. By the end of it, there's a reflection, you know. So then I get something out of it. If not, that parent guilt also sets in, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm letting her, you know, just go and, you know, yeah.
Well, I don't know whether you all saw a video, but I saw this video of maybe a child no bigger than, maybe slightly bigger, sitting right with a book, right? But because she's so used, a girl, so used to looking at these audiobooks, okay, and she does this, next page.
Yeah.
So she was given this, have you seen that?
Yes.
She was given this and she's doing like,
Yes.
she's doing,
No, my girl has done that. She's tried to enlarge before. And I'm like, that is not a good sign at all. Yes. But it's very interesting also to know what the technology is also changing, right? So how much are you supposed to keep up? And consumption versus actually using technology. So
very good question. So any other, yes?
Okay, actually I have two daughters, one is 6 years old and one is 2.5. So actually my first daughter is very like to reading. Actually she requests me to read to her every day, but sometimes I'm really too tired. So I just tell her, okay, 2 pages, 3 pages, yeah, 5 minutes. But my query is, okay, actually I read my first daughter a lot, from infant to now the 6 years old. But the second one, I don't know, maybe he sleeps together with her grandma. So she's still in the gap. But now when he turns to 2.5, she also wants to follow me to sleep. Also, okay, then I start to read to my first and second daughter together. But their needs is different.
yes.
So I don't know how to justify for that. So since maybe I wonder for my second daughter, if I read to her JJ, it's too difficult. It's good for her to learning, or will reduce her instinct in reading. So I wonder. So
balance
balance.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
For me, like it's a bedtime thing. So usually, like for this situation, so my routine now is you both get to pick a book,
Okay.
and then they can play scissors paper stone. But I don't know whether your 2-year-old can do that. But I think generally, I see the benefit of it because there's also some waiting time, and the other child learns to wait. Yeah. So I do want to encourage like turn taking in my home. Yeah, because if I always just let them have immediate gratification, like I want it, I do it now. So I'm conscious of that. So I try to just do a few pages like you, because if I have to finish the whole book for Sophia, yeah, so I will negotiate first. So I think negotiation skills come into play here because each one gets one book, and if they try to bring 5 books here, then I will say, so you have to decide like which are you going to pick, and then from there, like it could be 3 pages for Sophia, and then 1 like of this, yeah, for Josh, yeah, and then she would say unfair. Titi always gets to finish the whole book. Yeah, then I would tell her, because the words are longer, like more text. Yeah, so I think it's also getting the other, like the older child to be more understanding. Yeah, that your brother has needs as well. Yeah, so I just make sure that it's like a selection, so both get to pick something. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I try to tell them before the reading time start. Okay,
Yeah.
today you one book, you one book.
Yeah.
Must be balanced. Cannot be you choose your own book.
Yeah.
For 2 books, then I read for the.
I mean,
yeah,
if it works
the
for
other
you.
one will be not interested in their contents.
But there's also, if I can just jump in, there's also a lot of potential in like learning in a mixed age group.
Yes.
So like for the 2 of them, you can also have Che read to her, you know. So then you change roles and
Yeah. Actually, Jie want to read to Mei Mei, but
Yes.
Mei Mei always say,
Right.
okay, I want to listen from mommy, not from you.
right,
Yeah.
So
Yes.
maybe I try to tell them to set the rule
Yeah.
Yeah.
for them for the reading time.
yeah.
I mean, there are lots of rules in my
Yeah,
house.
maybe I can share with you. I have 4 children, okay, and they were like 2, 4, 6, 8.
Wow.
Okay, they're all 2 years apart, sometimes 3 years. So, but reading a story to the child is a routine. It's not that. It's a routine. It's a family time together. But when they are in their bed, so I'll come in and I will read whatever story. I mean, if you want, okay, it's today. But usually it's a simple story. And my oldest 8-year-old, all right, she's already probably 1, probably 2, and of course she knows all those stories, right, and all that sort of thing. But she still enjoys it. She still enjoys it. It's the togetherness with the mother and the mother reading. It's so funny because 2 of my children are in the gifted program, and so we talked about in the car, what's the ingredient for giftedness? And you know what my son said? A mother with a melodious voice. Because I guess I read to all 4 of them, and then like she said, dramatic, so I read, and then they just enjoy, you know. It's not, you know, so if we worry about, oh, he's 2, he's 4, no. I mean, it's a time together. I enjoy reading it, you know, and, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
I pick, you know, so
I mean,
it's that.
just to add on also, I think we're both all educators, but we also see the pressure. But I think at sleeping time, honestly, I tell myself no pressure.
Yeah.
It is just,
Yes.
Reading for
we're
pleasure.
just, pleasure.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, the family time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Understand
yes.
that's really
It's not
It's just
about
a-
reading, you know, high frequency words or phonics.
Yes.
It's just winding down time and
Yeah.
having that practice of winding down and going to sleep together.
Yeah, so I think that's a good time. So the young child who can't understand, you know, the more difficult words will maybe play with this pillow or whatever, it's fine. But I think that's a good time. Just read the one story. And then when I don't read, because we have dinner or something like that, my oldest will start reading to the youngest one. You know, so just relax and
Enjoy it.
yeah.
Only when you have time you can do a bit of the yeah, but the night time is really bonding.
Another question.
So actually, my son is turning 3 in May. So is very into picture books now. But is there like a rule or something that I must start to introduce those with words to him, or is it not a necessity?
I didn't for my child. I don't have that. We read everything. We read everything. So I let her read encyclopedias, but we also look at wordless books. And generally, if they're wordless books, I like those that are rich illustrations. So those that there are a lot of books that win prizes for illustrations. I like those that with detail, with color, things to talk about. So there's a lot. I personally feel there's a lot of value in that because I've worked with children at primary school age at enrichment level, and the ones that are really good with their composition and comprehension are the ones who pay attention to detail and pay attention to processing. So this is the time that you can introduce that and really capitalize on it.
And it's comprehension, because like for a 3-year-old, so I noticed that because the child is being read to so often, and when you ask questions, so the child actually processes that information, and that comprehension is something that just comes with the reading. You don't need to deliberately teach comprehension.
And also just to bring back to another point on wordless books, something that I find very helpful is connecting what they observe with emotion. Because that really helps later on when they're in primary school and they're writing compositions. They can actually have that, they pull in that empathy to actually describe a story. And what describes a story best other than emotion and thought and feeling? So
It also depends. I love this wordless book. It depends on the child too. Okay, my second daughter, she is very imaginative. So when we go to the library, she will always be looking for wordless books because that's when she can
freestyle.
And then when I've sent them, the two older ones, the two girls, to ballet. Okay, the first one very proper. So when they teach you whatever she'll follow. Okay, so if you have that kind of a child follows, it's easy, right? But the second one is the imaginative with wordless books, right? When it came to free form, you can do whatever form you want in ballet. Oh, you see her doing all that. And the first one is like, oh, now it's free form. What do I do? Okay, so you really need to know who your child is. Okay, and like she said, it works with the daughter, but did not work with the son. So that's also
maybe
important.
really the birth order. Because I have a firstborn. I need that structure.
Oh, I'm a firstborn. I don't need the structure. Seesaw again is different, Yeah.
I think we have time for one last question.
Maybe one sharing of what you do with your children at home. Like when do you read to your child?
Normally just before bedtime.
That's a nice time.
Sometimes they just pick up the book and start. When we take away the iPad, iPhone, that's the time when they have to play the toys or.
So you make it available? Like, are the books always there? Because sometimes it's always on the shelves. So I think if a book can be at a child's eye level, that might be one change that you might take away from this session because we usually put it neatly.
Actually, it's a learning experience. The firstborn, I didn't make the books first. So he only started reading at 6 years old. So this one is turning 5 this year, K1. From start with toddler's shelf. I see in the preschool, and now make it there.
We learn from the first experience.